Thought I'd do a quick little video on how I wired my remote switch to power my water pump, and also how I wired the light in line with it, so when that power switch is on, the remote power switch is on, the light lights up. So here's the system that I have simplified. You have the battery here, you have the plus terminal that comes out to a plus bus. That went to the main switch, the main cutoff switch that led to the fuse box, main fuse box. I only show one thing coming off this, but I have multiple things coming off this fuse box. It then goes down and through. Before, I didn't have this part here. It would just go through the switch at the pump, through the pump, and then back to the negative bus and back into the negative terminal in the battery. That was what I had before. What I added is down here, I added this diode. And for people that don't know what a diode is, the diode only allows electricity to flow one direction through the diode. There may be other ways of wiring this. I only got a C in circuits, so take it for a grain of salt, but this is how I have it wired and it works on my system. So I had to add a diode in here, and then coming out of the diode, I ran another wire that went this way to the remote switch, through the remote switch, back around through a inline fuse, because I'm now bypassing the fuse box, so I needed an inline fuse, and then back to the positive bus and back into the battery. So what this does is, normally when this switch is, the main switch is on, power can flow through the fuse box, through the fuse, through the diode, and then goes to the switch. When this switch is on, the water pump goes on and the electricity flows through the battery. When this switch is off, the main switch is off, I can then control the flow of electricity with this switch, and it goes backwards basically through the system. Power comes out of this to the main bus here, the positive bus, goes through my inline fuse and flows this direction through my switch, and then back to here, and then to the switch here that controls the water pump. So I still have this switch in use, but it bypasses the main system and the main fuses here. The issue, if you've just tied in this and you didn't have the diode, when this switch was on here, the electricity would flow through here and then back flow into your fuse box. So the electricity would flow into here, go into the fuse box, and it will allow all your appliances connected to the fuse box to work. So you don't want that backwards flow into the fuse box, or all of a sudden everything is going to be powered. And now it's powered through this lesser cable, which is not going to have enough gauge on it to handle the current and the flow to power all these things. So that's why you have the diode. Otherwise, you're going to have that backflow of electricity that you do not want. This only allows it one direction, which is this way, through the switch, still controls the water pump on and off, and through the water pump, and then into the battery. The only other thing that I added, now that this was independent of the main switch, I wanted to know when this power is on to the pump. So what I did is I connected into the wire coming out of the switch, a light, a little LED, 12 volt LED light, and then that comes into the negative bus that comes into the battery. So when this switch is activated and on, this light will light up. This light will also light up when the main switch is on. This remote switch is off. Main switch is on because the power will flow through here, through the diode, through the switch in the water pump, and also flow out this direction like this. That works for me because I wanted this light to indicate that the main power was on or this power was on. So any power that's on in this system, this light will light up at the end of the trailer telling me that power is coming out to the system. Hopefully I explained that fairly well. If you have any questions, let me know.